and then like.
We do have a Batman story here.
Yeah, we do.
We do. That was fantastic.
I'm trying to switch.
That was beautiful. I am every time Miracle has a good segue, I applaud. We've got a new story from Cinema Blend regarding the upcoming Batman movie starring Robert Pattinson. If you've watched any of the episodes that we've done, you know that is the film that I'm more excited about than just about anything coming out of...
because he's no longer the vampire that sparkles.
Yes, he is not the vampire.
And he's not that wizard from Harry Potter.
Did you ever see were you a fan of Twilight?
I was Team Jacob because he didn't look that menacing.
So you actually had a team.
Well, because I thought it was really cool because they were trying to talk about like tribalism, but after that I was like, I'm done with this movie.
Okay, well that's fair enough.
And my mom was like really into it. Like this was like the final movie came out when my sisters were like already born. Mm-hmm. So like legit she was watching it, like we were watching it on our TV. And she's like, Bella, don't die. Don't die. And then when Bella opens her eyes, she was like, yeah.
There you go. Well, this story is from Cinema Blend, and it says, will the Batman get a sequel? Here are Robert Pattinson's thoughts. It says, the wait has been long, but soon fans will finally be able to feast their eyes on Matt Reeves' The Batman. The director's cinematic take on the Caped Crusader is primed to be unlike anything fans have seen from this mythos before. Many seem to be pleased with what's been shown thus far.
Sorry. I'm trying to like control it. Like you heard me earlier when I was talking, like I was trying to stop it.
And naturally, some may already be wondering if a sequel might be is being planned. On the surface, this definitely looks like a film series in the making, and its lead, Robert Pattinson, is definitely familiar with franchises. On that note, the actor has commented on the possibility of a sequel to the Reeves movie. The British actor portrayed vampire Edward Cullen in the pop culture juggernaut The Twilight franchise. Over the course of 5 films, Robert Pattinson was able to develop the character with the help of Stephanie Meyer's original novels. Pattinson is cerebral when it comes to the roles he chooses and how he prepares for them, so it should come as no surprise that he already knows where he'd like to tackle with this version of Batman down the road. It says, the recent comments, which he shared with Empire, it says, I've made a kind of map where Bruce's psychology would grow over 2 more movies. I would love to do it. Okay, that's interesting, because when this movie was originally pitched, I believe it was only going to be 1. It's outside of the DC universe, so it's not part of the canon of Aquaman, of Justice League, of any of those films. Obviously, with the multiverse, that can be rectified very easily with very little effort from the writers. They can find a way to magically, whether they do it through Flashpoint, whatever way they choose to do that. So I don't know if I want to see this movie turned into. I mean, if it's good, and oddly enough, I don't think it's not Robert Pattinson that would give me hope that this would turn out. It's Matt Reeves that gives me hope that a trilogy would turn out, because he did the Planet of the Apes trilogy, which was very, very good from start to finish.
I liked it, yeah.
So it says, the Batman is building rapidly, and barring any further developments with the global health crisis, the movie could succeed at the box office. I'd say there's a good chance Warner Brothers will greenlight a sequel if it hasn't already. They likely will. Even if it's just serviceable, meaning that like the Batman character is protected heavily by Warner Brothers. It's the only character that's not allowed, as far as I remember, it's the only DC character that isn't allowed to be shown live action on television. You can show Bruce Wayne on television. You can show his rogues gallery on television, but you can't show full scenes of Bruce Wayne, of actual Batman, on regular TV shows. They had like a scene at the very end of Gotham with just a single shot of Batman aged up from the young Bruce Wayne that they had on that show. But in general, they keep Batman off screen. He's not supposed to be on TV or streaming. So it says, interesting though, even if there isn't another film, the franchise will still continue through the small screen. The franchise, not the character. HBO Max is currently developing 2 TV shows set within the same continuity. One of these takes place 1 year before these events, the events of the movie, and will focus on the corruption that is present within the Gotham City Police Department. That's Gotham PD that they're talking about. The other series will thrust Colin Farrell's Oswald Cobblepot into the spotlight and will cover his rise within the criminal underworld. And in addition to starring in the show, Farrell will serve as an executive producer. I'm guessing that's why they hired Colin Farrell to do this, because he's in like heavy makeup and prosthetics. Mm-hmm. But if they do a prequel, they can strip him of that and have him be his regular size to show the prequel version of him as he becomes the Penguin. Yeah. Right? So that's actually good planning on their part, if that's actually what they were trying to do.
Well, that's what they did in Gotham. Like, their version of Penguin is, like, really skinny and awkward.
I was going to ask, I said, does he end up becoming... Because I never finished Gotham.
I think so. I didn't finish either, but I believe so, because that's what happens. Like, slowly he becomes more insane.
I saw seasons 1 through 4, and then I never saw. Or no, I saw through the proto Joker that they did. That wasn't actually the Joker. I saw through that, and then after that, I kind of checked out.
Oh,
I know they did. I know that people love that show. Like the end of that show. Season 1 I thought was bad. Season 2, 3, and 4 were very good, but I just didn't get it.
Oh, that's weird.
Yep.
So the first season you didn't like it.
I didn't like it. Most people didn't, from what I understand. But that's just my take on it. But it would be cool to see if we actually end up getting like a Colin Farrell like in his regular handsome form as he becomes the Penguin. Though he's still arguably a lot bigger than like the guy who played Oswald Cobblepot in the show. The guy who plays him is like a stick in the show. Yeah,
he's so skinny and he's very... Like, he's so awkward.
Yep. Well, that's his thing. He's creepy looking. In a good way. In a good way. Sorry about that.
No. It's okay.
And we'll cover his rise. It says, so viewers will certainly get their fix either way, but one can't deny the allure of another big screen installment, especially when there's so much ground that can be covered. The upcoming film will include crucial elements and characters like the smooth-looking Selena Kyle. That is exactly right. Played by Zoe Kravitz, and Paul Dano's creepy Riddler. I'm very excited for that. In the mix at some point. As a matter of fact, reports and rumors have suggested that Eternals alum Barry Keoghan has shot a special cameo for the movie and maybe not be playing the Clown Prince of Crime. That is a recurring rumor that he's playing a character, a police officer in Gotham PD, and that he has they filmed 2 versions of this movie, one with him showing the Joker and one without. I say don't do it. Just leave the Joker out of it. I don't think you need to always go back to that well.
And plus, the Joker, how he became the Joker, he was a villain. He wasn't a part of the Gotham PD.
I just don't think they need to keep going back to that well. It's like, do we need him every time we get a Batman character?
But you can't have Batman without Joker. That's what they're trying to get at.
I think they can. I'm not saying that the character doesn't exist in that universe, but Batman has one of the most iconic rogues galleries of all time. You don't need to always go back to that well in the films, I'm saying. He can exist, but you don't need to always use him.
True.
Who would you like to see? What character would you like to see?
Well, what time period is it going to be?
Well, I'm saying anytime. Well, we're dealing with Batman Year 2, so
Year 2.
Yeah, so we're talking younger, very what villain would you like to see if you could? And I'm not saying you have to even be tethered to that time period. If you could take, if you could see him,
I kind of want to see their new rendition of Poison Ivy.
Okay, all right. Do they know? I don't remember hearing about casting for that. Do they have a character cast?
No, but they do have casting for Catwoman.
Well, yeah, no, we got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, so you'd like to see Poison Ivy.
I want to see Poison Ivy because if you have Catwoman, then you have to have Poison Ivy.
And they'll be diverse, and they'll be very, very awesome, right?
Because the TV show Batwoman, they have Poison Ivy.
I know.
Version.
I know. Well, that's the show that must not be named. We do not speak of that show here.
Yeah.
That show's awful.
But I kind of want to see Poison Ivy because the original Batman movie, what was it called? It had Poison Ivy, and then it was supposed to be a comedy movie.
Keep going.
Is it Batman Forever?
Batman Forever?
Thank you.
I love Batman Forever.
Thank you for trying to not help me think of the title of the movie.
Well, she's in, isn't that character in she's not in Batman Forever, she's in Batman and Robin, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Batman Forever I actually like. I like the Val Kilmer Batman. I'm the only one in the world who actually likes that Batman, but I enjoy it. And guess what? I even enjoy Jim Carrey's performance as the Riddler in that movie, even though it's ridiculous and over the top. I'm a fan of that movie. I know. Come at me, bro. It's got a lot to do with the time period I lived in. Nicole Kidman is.
I
don't even remember her. Chase Meridian, I think, was the name of that doctor's name. I love that movie. I can't help it.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Jim Carrey.
It's boiling acid. I think it was either Shane or like Chris got that reference when I made it last time. It's the way he says it in the movie. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Didn't like Clooney's portrayal. Didn't even care about bat nipples. Just didn't like the portrayal. And actually, worse. Do you even know that reference? Because even worse than that was the bat credit card. Never leave home without it. Mm-hmm. So. I mean, those movies back then, those were vehicles to sell toys, right?
Yeah.
So it made sense.
Well, like for me, I just want to see Poison Ivy because like Poison Ivy before Harley Quinn and Catwoman, it was her. And she was like the icon of being the villain woman.
Who would you like to see play her?
I'm kind of like... Do you want like good casting and bad casting?
Yeah, no. If you could pick a good good casting. Good casting?
Ooh, who's a good actress right now? No, none of them are good unless it's Angelina Jolie, but she's a
little old.
She's a little bit older. She's a little bit older. I'm trying to think like who's really good.
And it depends on the age range you're looking to go for there.
Because I'm trying to think of somebody who's like very Jessica Rabbit kind of feel.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can't think of anybody. Oh no, yeah, I can. The girl that plays Cheryl Blossom from Riverdale. Her name is Madeline, and I forgot her last name, but she's she's a classic redhead.
Okay. Okay, so you want it to be a natural redhead. So that's your casting is way down the list there because there's just not many of them in.
Yeah, but she's really she's a good person in real life. I like her personality in real life outside of acting, and she's a good actress.
Okay.
But then bad casting, let's get Miley Cyrus to do it.
Oh my God. Let's
do it. See all of them tongues out.
No. I would cast Bridget Regan.
Oh, true.
Bridget Regan is, I don't know if she's a natural redhead, but she's had red hair in roles before. She was fantastic as, she was in a show called White Collar in the 5th season where she played like a spy.
I watched it.
Yes. I love Bridget Regan. She's she's very fair skinned. So I think she could play that role pretty well.
Yeah. Or like they can do like how Poison Ivy is portrayed now in the Harley Quinn animated series, like where she's more butch.
I don't want that. That's just me. But I mean, that's not hard to believe that they would go with newer portrayals. I know that we're going to talk later. It would have been a fantastic transition if we were going to talk about it now. But I know that they're going New 52 with the Batgirl version that they're doing right now. So
yeah, I don't know. Like for me, it's kind of hard because like I do want to see like a Poison Ivy because they already have Riddler. You said he's like a creepier
serial killer version.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's like Jack Ripper, but funnier.
I think they said he's inspired by the Zodiac.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did they ever catch him? There's rumors that he's still out there.
I think I don't know if they caught him, but they decoded his, like somebody finally decoded the letter, like the ciphers that he sent to the police.
Yeah.
If I could see any villain in there, it would probably be, even though it's not timeline accurate, it would be Deathstroke. And I would love to have gotten Joe Manganiello to come back and do that. Because I thought he was doing. I love Manu Bennett as Deathstroke. I love I love S.I. Morales as Deathstroke.
What about Will Smith's version?
What? He was Deadshot, not Deathstroke.
Oh, my bad.
Different character.
My bad. They look the same.
But the Manu Bennett one is really good, but that's because I love those first seasons of Arrow, but that's not the same tone. I love the S.I. Morales version of it because he's very brutal in season 2 of Titans. Joe Manganiello never really got to really fully embrace that role. He only got those cameo appearances, and I think he could have done a great job.
Yeah.
So, and with the multiverse, you could bring multiple versions in.
If we bring multiverse, like if it's like the multiverse, then I kind of want to see like all of like Batman Beyond villains.
Yeah.
Like the whole.
And they could do that in sequels, I suppose. Like, that would be hard to do in sequels for that, because we're trying to stay on topic for like this franchise. Like, this one that's in its own pocket universe.
Yeah.
3 films. So if you could get Poison, so we've got the Riddler for film 1.
Yeah.
You'd like maybe Poison Ivy for film 2.
And then film 3, if they just want to throw a hat in a ring for a multiverse, I kind of want to see Batman Beyond, the clown gang, because it has the Joker and Harley Quinn's granddaughters, the DDs, and then they have Joker Jr., where like I forgot, it's not Junior, I just call him Joker Jr. because he takes on the mantle as the Joker. But I like those characters. They're really interesting.
It's and they're shooting for the fences on this one. I do just want to kind of reference this here. The Batman is trying to top the Dark Knight trilogy, says producer. My guess is that every film wants to top something like that, but I just don't know if that's.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know if that's possible.
I don't think it's possible, but
I'd love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong, but it would require. I mean, the world. We were living in a different world at the time that movie came out. Christopher Nolan is one of the best of all time. Matt Reeves is good, but given just the way that the way that fandom in general and superheroes and comic books have become so mainstream, I just don't know if it's possible to have the same cultural impact that the original Dark Knight trilogy. And the funny thing is, I don't even think it was necessarily a great trilogy. It's just that those first 2, like most people love The Dark Knight the most. I love Batman Begins more than any movie in that trilogy. But The Dark Knight is such a culturally relevant and important film to our time because of what happened to Heath Ledger, that performance. People forget that that The Dark Knight Rises wasn't really all that great of a movie.
It wasn't.
I mean, it was fine,
but it gave us a perfect quote. Why so serious?
Well, that was from The Dark Knight.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
That was from The Dark Knight.
The
Dark Knight Rises was the one with Bane and
that crack.
And so
they're all being the same now.
So in this article, it says, producer Dylan Clark reveals the ultimate goal of Matt Reeves' upcoming film is to top Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy as the best Batman film ever made. So it's weird. It's saying it wants to be the best Batman film ever made, but it's comparing it to a trilogy, not a single film. The film has been described as a back-to-basics detective story, which is what I've always said. I said, do world's greatest detective. You don't need to do superhero Bruce Wayne all the time.
Yeah, because like that's what he was known for. That's what I loved about it. Like he was like the world's greatest detective.
And then the Nolan films aren't really superhero movies. They're crime dramas.
Yeah.
They're not. I mean, the third one's kind of a superhero movie, but the first 2 are just crime noir.
Yeah. I kind of like it because like when they did a collaboration with Scooby-Doo, like he was like, I'm the world's greatest detective. And I'm like, okay, Batman.
It says right. Oh yeah. So it says for example, like Nolan's films, the Batman is expected to adopt a more grounded approach to storytelling while foregoing the more supernatural aspects of Batman lore. For example, the Riddler, who is traditionally portrayed as a quippy smart aleck, is reimagined in the Batman as a psychotic serial killer inspired by the infamous Zodiac. So that was true. Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy was a stark departure from the Batman films that had come before it. The director chose to eschew the surrealism and camp that had come to define the character in the 90s. While in the hands of Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher. His decision proved to resonate with audiences, cementing the Dark Knight trilogy not only as one of the most successful comic book franchises of all time, but also one of the greatest cinematic trilogies of all time. Each movie in the trilogy was a critical and commercial success, grossing $2.4 billion by the end of its 7-year run. So they made 3 movies in 7 years. Like think about how many Marvel movies come out in a year now. And how much more, but like people know those movies, but they don't have the cultural significance here. So maybe there's something to be said about less, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm really excited for this because like looking at the trailers and that photo that Brett is showing right now, it's really aesthetically pleasing.
It's beautifully shot. The movie's it's got the atmosphere. One of my big complaints from The Dark Knight, from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight was how much more plain Gotham looked.
Yeah.
In Batman Begins, it looks like this. It looks like a comic book city. Whereas when you're looking at it in The Dark Knight and further on, it just looks like generic Chicago or New York City. It doesn't really look like the atmosphere that it gave. That maybe that's why I like the first one more. So I don't know. Matt Reeves got a lot of work to do. Hopefully it comes out. Pattinson is absolutely talented enough as an actor. So is Paul Dano. So like they have the time. Jeffrey Wright, absolutely. And oh my God, they've got Andy Serkis as Alfred. So they have the acting talent to do this.
Wait, do you think this movie is going to actually kill off Alfred?
No, I don't think so. Not for such a young version of Batman.
It would be a cool twist where like the Riddler like goes like, yeah, I'm that serial killer. You love this butler? Well, goodbye.
Could be. That was an ongoing joke in like in the Gotham shows. Like Alfred kept getting like abducted, but
well, like later, like in the cartoon series, like Alfred actually knows how to defend himself.
Did you ever see? This is so funny. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone else saw this. Did you see Pennyworth? I don't know if that ever. You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it good?
Kinda.
Okay, I never saw it. I was like, even that's a little too like holy corporate synergy. Like I can't do it. I can't watch an Alfred TV show.
No, I just thought it was funny because like they actually showed that he can defend himself, and I'm like, I kind of like
show.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you were referring to?
No, I was referring to like the cartoon series.
Okay,
too.
yeah.
Like they did that too, where they're like, I know how to defend myself, and he like pulls out a sword out of nowhere, and I'm like, where did that sword come from?
In Pennyworth, he's like like military, right?
Yeah.
He's like ex-SAS or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Like for me, I'm like, I kind of like it, but he does die in the comic books.
Yeah.
He does die because like I forgot how he died. I think he died either bullet wound or like somebody just broke his neck.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
All I know is that I am far more excited about that movie than just about anything else that's coming out right now.
Really? You're not even excited for John Wick?
Okay, maybe not more excited for John Wick, but I am very, 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 very excited for John Wick. So let's get into it.
John Wick, let's go.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.